Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are looking at one of the most incredible corporate survival stories of the modern era. We're talking about a company that was literally brought back from the brink of death. And the crazy part? They didn't do it through ruthless cost-cutting. They did it with something much softer, but honestly, infinitely more powerful. We're going to focus on the culture behind 32% growth. So get ready, because the Air New Zealand turnaround is an absolute masterclass in how leadership, communication, and empathy can, quite literally, save a business. Negative $1.4 billion. Yeah, that's with a B. Back in the early 2000s, right after the collapse of Ansett Australia, which Air New Zealand had a major stake in, this was the staggering financial deficit staring the company right in the face. It wasn't just a bad quarter, it was a complete existential threat. They were bleeding money, posting record losses, and totally losing the faith of the public. So put yourself in the executive seat for a second. How do you save a company losing $1.4 billion? When a financial hole is that insanely deep, the human instinct is almost always to panic. You want to slash budgets, fire staff, basically retreat into pure survival mode. But as we'll see in this explainer, the actual solution required a completely different, almost totally counterintuitive approach. Section 1. A company in crisis. Okay, let's dive into this. The crisis in 2001 wasn't just a spreadsheet problem. Actually, scratch that, the math was awful, but the root cause was a deeply broken internal environment. The airline needed a massive government bailout just to keep the lights on, which, as you can imagine, totally wiped out investor confidence. But the real rot, that was on the inside. Staff morale and retention were absolutely plummeting. The leadership culture was reactive, totally terrified of risk. Decision-making was moving at a glacial pace, and different departments were so siloed off from each other that collaboration was basically impossible. The company was literally paralyzed from the inside out.
So part 2, enter Dame Theresa Gatton.
To fix a crisis this deep, you need a totally different kind of leader. Dame Theresa Gatton made history as the first woman to lead a major New Zealand corporation. She was previously the group general manager of marketing, so she was already this fierce advocate for a customer-centric strategy. And she was handed a massive mandate: restore stability, rebuild public trust, and make the airline profitable again. But her core realization was brilliant. She knew that saving the airline fundamentally required a massive shift, moving from compliance-driven management to purpose-driven stewardship. She understood you can't just mandate a financial recovery. You have to actively rebuild confidence with employees, customers, and shareholders. Which brings us to the next section: radical transparency and empathy. So how did she actually do it? Well, Githern didn't hide in the boardroom. Let's break down her approach. Her very first step was transparency. Instead of shielding employees from that terrifying $1.4 billion reality, she shared it completely openly through staff forums. And that immediately killed the anxious rumor mill. Next was empowerment. She actively invited staff feedback on how to fix things, which turned demoralized employees into active problem solvers. And finally, courage. She faced the hostile media directly, head on. That completely reframes the public narrative. Her radical honesty built incredible credibility in record time. Moving on to rebuilding trust and purpose. With the internal bleeding stopped, she focused on purpose. And this brilliantly illustrates the shift. It was night and day. Before the transformation, Air New Zealand was super product-driven, with this stiff, formal corporate tone. Their service was entirely reactive. Afterward, they became experience-driven, culturally authentic, and they empowered their frontline staff to be proactive. A defining moment was her insistence on prioritizing ethical decisions, like honoring customer refunds, even when it hurt the bottom line in the short term. She redefined the airline's mission around putting Kiwis first, connecting the business recovery right to national pride. They stopped acting like a faceless corporation and just started acting like humans. It all came down to one incredible philosophy. Dame Theresa Gatton famously said, "We can't outspend our competitors, but we can outcare them." I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Empathy literally became their primary competitive advantage. They knew they didn't have the budget to fight international mega carriers on marketing spend, so they totally changed the battleground. They made it about customer care and emotional connection. But to make that level of care authentic, it had to start from within. Gatton kicked off internal campaigns like Proud to Fly Air NZ, publicly celebrating what employees were doing. But she didn't stop there. She actually instituted these reverse mentoring programs, where she paired younger staff with senior executives so they could share digital and generational insights. This was a genius move. It completely dissolved those silos we talked about earlier and united the whole organization through shared pride rather than a shared fear of bankruptcy.
All right, section 4, the culture behind 32% growth.
So, you might be wondering, does all this soft stuff actually impact the bottom line? Well, look at these numbers. The result was a massive 32 percentage point jump in employee engagement over just 4 years. Back in 2001, engagement sat at a really dismal 52, but by 2005, it skyrocketed to 84. A 32-point growth in engagement for a major corporation is practically unheard of, and this wasn't an accident. It was the direct result of the transparency and empathy we just went over. This 32% growth in culture became the true, undisputed engine behind the entire turnaround.
Because that 32-point jump in internal culture yielded absolutely unbelievable external results. To put this into perspective, annual profit went from negative $1.4 billion to a positive $400 million by 2005. That is an astonishing $1.8 billion swing in just 4 years. Customer satisfaction leaped from 61% to over 90%. Their domestic market share jumped 14 points to 63%, and their brand reputation score went from below the industry average to being in the top 2 for the entire Asia-Pacific region. This definitively proves that investing in your culture directly drives massive financial returns.
Finally, section 5, lessons in authentic leadership. So, what you should take away from this explainer are these 5 fundamental truths. First, transparency breeds trust. Sharing the truth, whether it's good or bad, creates unity in adversity. Second, purpose inspires resilience. People will fight tirelessly for a cause they actually believe in, not just for a paycheck. Third, culture change is people change. Real transformation only happens when every single individual feels they're part of the journey. Fourth, empathy under pressure strengthens authority. Being compassionate doesn't make you weak, it humanizes you and earns you fierce loyalty. And finally, ethical leadership delivers durable success. Getting proved that moral credibility easily outlasts any financial cycle. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought today. Look at your own teams, your own projects, your own organizations. Ask yourself, are you just managing for compliance, or are you actually leading for culture? Because as the Air New Zealand turnaround proves, when absolutely everything is on the line, it's the culture, not the spreadsheet, that will ultimately save you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, keep leading, and I'll catch you next time.